is CNN. And as your first 24-hour news station, we are here to bring you the coolest, the most stellar decade in review, the 80s.
I said the hip hop, the hip to the hip hop. You don't stop the rocker to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat, and me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello. Up to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta bang.
The farm crisis of the 80s, it changed rural America forever. The jobs disappeared. The Main Street businesses closed. And the young people had to go to a city, somewhere else, to get a job. And so that farm crisis completely altered the fabric of rural America.
Don't be fooled by commercials where one battery company's toy outlasts the others. The fact is, Energizer was never invited to their playoffs because nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Stop the bunny, please.
And going and go.
The painting, Renoir. The vase, Ming. And the wine, Chateau Marmoset. When only the best will...
Like we said, nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and going and going and going.
This sequence of photos was taken during the first 60 seconds of the mountain's eruption, shortly after 8:30 on Sunday morning. Rosenquist and 4 friends barely escaped. Rivers are still at high levels in the...
President Carter won a major victory today in his bid to boycott the Moscow Olympic Games because of the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. In Colorado Springs, ABC's Tom Shell was on hand for the announcement of a decision on sending a U.S. team to Moscow.
The United States Olympic Committee has decided not to send a team to the 1980 Summer Games in Moscow.
An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
That was 1980. Now let's take a look at 1981.
It is now 5 minutes after 7 o'clock on the east coast of the United States. And for those of you who are at this point expecting to see our regular evening news broadcast, we will take a moment to review the events of this day. At approximately 2:30 this afternoon, President Reagan was coming out of the Washington Hilton Hotel after giving a speech to the Building Trades Council of the AFL-CIO. You will see the president come out very shortly now. This is slow motion tape of his exit from the hotel. He comes out, he waves to the crowd across the driveway. Reporters call out questions to him, as is their custom. You'll see him turn now and look toward the reporters. And now the shots. In just this second, the agent in front of the president in the blue suit is hit, falls to the ground. The president, although we didn't know it at the time, also was hit in the left side of his chest.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Go. Unbelievable, Jules. You guys are gone. They've rolled now, Jules, and they're on their back. We're going to get you over on your back. Roll, Provost Island. They've rolled over.
The music with the Sony Walkman.
The Sony Walkman is a tiny stereo cassette player with truly incredible sound.
You really feel the music. You really feel it. You really feel the music.
Put on a Walkman and see the world in a whole new light.
Sony Walkman.
The Walkman from Sony, the one and only.
6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
This is it. Welcome to MTV Music Television, the world's first 24-hour stereo video music channel. Now, just moments ago, all of the VJs and the crew here at MTV collectively hit our executive producer, Sue Steinberg, over the head with a bottle of champagne, and behold, a new concept is born. The best of TV combined with the best of radio. Now, starting right now, you'll never look at music the same way again. We'll be right back to introduce the other VJs and the other folks who are going to be with us on MTV.
I'm out.
Moving on to 1982.
E.T. Bono. Because we are struggling for something.
It's mighty sick.
We are looking at some of these.
In 1982, Sony revolutionized music with a compact disc player. Now, of course, the competition is joining the revolution. But Sony is starting another one. Introducing the car compact disc player. And for those who don't drive, Sony introduces the portable compact disc player. For innovations in music, do what the competition does. Follow the leader.
And up next, 1983.
Or even one that travels with you. Like this unique cellular portable made by Motorola, which weighs only 30 ounces. Right now, businessmen and women are major users of radio telephones where cellular is in service. But more people will take advantage of cellular as its benefits become apparent. Eventually, seeing people using cellular phones may seem as commonplace as someone checking time on an electronic watch, figuring on an electronic calculator, or programming on an electronic computer. Industry watchers say there are only a few thousand cellular phones in use right now, but that number is expected to grow considerably within the next few years during the cellular revolution.
But isn't there something better?
And what you've just been listening to is the ultimate in recorded sound. It will make all conventional disc and cassette systems obsolete. It's dustproof, scratch-proof, digitally recorded, read by a laser, and it's called the compact disc. And that's it. The biggest revolution in the recording industry since the invention of the long-playing gramophone record, but this is no ordinary disc, just 12 centimeters in diameter. The music is recorded onto it digitally, and there's no needle being dragged through a groove. That information is being read by a laser light. And this is the tiny laser that does all the work. A small low-power semiconductor which emits invisible infrared light and plays the record from inside out.
During the last several years, a weakening in our security posture has been particularly noticeable in our strategic nuclear forces, the very foundation of our strategy for deterring foreign attacks. A window of vulnerability is opening, one that would jeopardize not just our hopes for serious productive arms negotiations, but our hopes for peace and freedom. Shortly after taking office, I directed the Secretary of Defense to review our strategy for deterrence and to evaluate the adequacy of the forces now available for carrying out that strategy. He and his colleagues, in consultation with many leaders outside the executive branch, have done that job well. And after one of the most complex, thorough, and carefully conducted processes in memory, I am announcing today a plan to revitalize our strategic forces and maintain America's ability to keep the peace well into the next century. Our plan is a comprehensive one. It will strengthen and modernize the strategic triad of land-based missiles, sea-based missiles, and bombers. It will end long-standing delays in some of these programs and introduce new elements into others. And just as important, it will improve communications and control systems that are vital to these strategic forces. This program will achieve three objectives. It will act as a deterrent against any Soviet actions directed against the American people or our allies. It will provide us with the capability to respond at reasonable cost and within adequate time to any further growth in Soviet forces. It will signal our resolve to maintain the strategic balance, and this is the keystone to any genuine arms reduction agreement with the Soviets. Let me point out here that this is a strategic program that America can afford. It fits within the revised fiscal guidelines for the Department of Defense that I announced last week. And during the next 5 years, the entire cost of maintaining and rebuilding our strategic forces will take less than 15% of our defense expenditures. This is...
Growth to being somebody in this society starts with education. And we intend to be sure that everybody in this room and every child in this state is somebody, because we're going to give them every chance we can to develop their minds so that they can play a role in this state and this country to make it the kind of place it needs to be.